What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Spectators. Today is episode 180. It is March 27th, 2023, and we are going to be going into all things MLB. Opening day is this Thursday, and I am joined with Nico and Brooklyn, and we are kind of bricked for some baseball. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, everybody?
I'm hyped, bro.
Hey,
I'm
come on
hyped.
now.
Yeah, we do. We are repping the sets currently. We are repping the sets today.
Got you.
And yeah, I mean, we all know that we're gonna have some, at least moderate success out of our teams this year, bearing any crazy crisis. But there are a lot of things. Yeah, exactly, right. But there are a lot of things and a lot of teams and a lot of free agents that moved and trades and injuries and money that got thrown around. I mean, if there's anything that happened this offseason, there was money getting just tossed at everybody and the mama. And so we're gonna go into it. Do you guys want to start with just teams or like teams you feel like might be high? How you guys want to start this particularly?
Man, I think we should just go get right into the best of the players right now. Who we're thinking right now is the hottest of the players. I mean, we just had the WBC kind of just wrap up.
Mm-hmm.
A few stars we got to see play in the game. And you know, I feel like with some momentum the WBC kind of brings. Could very well play into some of these teams kind of going into it. You know, our boys Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout, kind of two leaders on their respective ball clubs, definitely are going to take that into their season with the Angels, right? You know, they haven't been too crazy of a playoff contending team at all, really. So it'd be very interesting to see just kind of how they kind of go from there. But yeah, like MVP talk, the list goes on of guys who are really kind of plausible coming into the season of MVP talk, where you can go from pitchers to hitters to just who else, the young guys, new guys. You know, there's so much new talent. With a couple of guys coming from overseas this season, this is going to be a very exciting season for baseball, I will say.
I fully agree with that too, because we're coming in off of a really lit WBC where, like you said, a lot of momentum is going to be coming in. Plus, we got a lot of rule changes this year, and that's just going to up the momentum too. I bring it up all the time. Playing every single team is going to keep things fresh. You don't got to play your division team
18 times. It was 18.
Yeah, 18
it's
times.
Too many. It's too many.
They know at this
Way too
point.
many.
It makes it tough for the playoffs too, especially when you know you've seen these teams kind of all year round, right? I mean, it's give or take. It's all about perspective and how you look at it. But it does just give that opportunity more than anything for the fans, for us to kind of explore and see that. Like, imagine living in Tampa and you wanting to see your Seattle Mariners or your Oakland A's that are across the dang country, and you have to wait till 2026 when Oakland A's come into town to Tampa for once. Or, you know, it kind of makes it fresh and gives more fans the opportunity to see their respective ball clubs, and really for the players too to travel around the state, really, in the country, see different states, different cities. That's a big thing as well. I feel like that people aren't in looking at in this whole picture. They're thinking more of like, changing the game of baseball, but it's more about the fans, more about the interaction.
It's going to grow the game as well, because the regular fan isn't watching Diamondback games. They're not watching like Reds games. I mean, I hate to say it, they're probably not even watching Rays games if they're on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Like these are just smaller market teams that aren't really being shown. So now you got the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Astros, who are going to be playing these teams who they might have not normally played, unless like you get the weird interleague game every so many years.
And that's like Nico said, every 3, 4, 5 years. I mean, the Yankees are playing the San Francisco Giants opening weekend.
Huh?
What? Like, what?
That's
crazy. And you know, MLB did that because Judge was going to go to either San Francisco or New York, and he's going to play in New York no matter what. It was a good narrative. They knew what they were doing. But, like, having the scripts go crazy, dude. But having that be available is super nice. And the accessibility, like, people that watch the Dodgers probably don't know anything about the Rays besides the fact that the Dodgers own them in the World Series. And, like, that's probably it. And now they can go watch them in LA and try. That game will probably sell out. They'll be like a pretty lit environment whenever they go there
Yeah.
next, and like that'll be cool.
To attest to that, I remember specifically I'm not sure exactly when it is, man. Time flies by, but a few years ago, the Dodgers actually came into Tampa one weekend, and then in like one of those crazy interleague games, and the Dodgers hadn't been to Tampa since they were probably the Devil Rays at that time, right? So, like yeah, exactly. Seeing the Dodgers come to that weekend, I remember being like, oh, dude, like let's go see the Dodgers. Like let's go see the Dodgers play. Like I'm a big Rays fan, but bro, how crazy would it be to go see Clayton Kershaw pitch live? I was at the bullpen, and he was in the bullpen, sitting, just chilling pregame, doing his thing, talking, hanging out with some of the guys. Kenley Jansen came through. A couple of these guys signing balls. So, again, just to kind of bring it back, it's all about the fan experience more than anything. And I'm sure those guys in L.A. were excited to come to Tampa, right? Guys from the ball club are from everywhere. So, guy might have been coming home to his hometown in Tampa.
For the first time.
St. Pete area.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And I also feel like when it comes down to record-wise, a 100-win team is going to mean a lot more now than it ever has, in my opinion. Because now you're not accounting for 40 of those wins to be against the Orioles or like the Rockies or stuff like that. Like, if you got 100-plus wins, you're
played
really,
everybody.
really good.
You played
beat everybody.
Yeah.
Like, there's no argument of like, oh, but once they play these National League teams, they're not going to hold up. They did. They beat them.
I also like it for the same kind of idea, but kind of on the inverse, right? The American League East has been the class of baseball for the better part of 2 decades now, right? I mean, at any given moment, there are 3 teams in the AL East that could legitimately make a run and get to a World Series, right? And that's not true for any other division, really. Like, there's flashes, right? The NL West at times look good. The NL East at times looks good. But, like, generally speaking, the Centrals don't look great. They just don't. And so now you're telling me Baltimore gets to take, 20 games off their schedule, or however many it winds up shaving off against the AL East. They get to play the Yankees, Red Sox, Blue Jays, and Rays less, and go play the Cubs, Reds, Brewers, Cardinals, Pirates. Like, oh, they're licking their chops, dude. They're like, hey, man, there might be tough games, but it's not the Yankees. It's not the Blue Jays. Like, we don't got to get tortured by Judge again. Like, thank goodness.
These bottom feeder teams and divisions are going to be a lot better now, and it's going to be fun.
Hopefully. And bottom feeder teams in tough divisions.
Yeah.
If you're the Rockies this year, you're gonna Oakland and Colorado. They're not gonna be good. They're not gonna be good.
Kansas City, maybe you get like an extra 10 wins. Nice.
So speaking on like the new rule change, how do you guys feel about no shifting? That's a big thing. No shifting. Not a big fan of that.
Well,
no,
they're still shifting. It's just restricted. So
you have to have 2 guys on or 2 guys on each side.
Yeah, there's definitely enough room to still shift though, and so I wish it was even a little bit more restricted, but like it's fine. Having 4 infielders on one side is pretty nice.
Yeah, I love that. And like now, if you want to bring an outfielder in to play like a deep second base, where we would see a lot in the shift. Now you got to move your right fielder in, center fielder over, left fielder over.
It just creates like actual gaps.
More risk.
Yeah.
Like it's not just we're gonna spread everybody out. No, you're running thin on the defensive side.
Yeah.
Also,
go
ahead,
dude. This is a Corey Seager coming out party. Corey Seager's gonna hit like 440 this year because he's gonna get balls through the shift now, and he's gonna be so happy. That contract's gonna look like a fire sale because of how many hits he's gonna be getting extra. And there's a lot of guys that are gonna benefit from that. And I do think it sucks in like an era where we're finally starting to get away a little bit from batting average, but it still lingers, and batting average still is at least prevalent to an extent. Like people last year will tell you Corey Seager sucked, or Anthony Rizzo wasn't great despite the home runs, and it's like, listen guys, you got to look at how many outs we're taking away from the shift and how many they're going to gain from it being gone this year. And advanced stats matter a little bit, but when they don't turn into results, like who cares? But BABIP is going to matter for them now. Like the discrepancy between like Corey Seager's BABIP and his actual batting average was like 120 points. That's insane. Like you're hitting balls that hard that like you should be hitting 340, but like you're not. Sorry, dude. Get wrecked, idiot.
The one thing I think is gonna happen that people are thinking is gonna go away with the restricted shift is like hits up the middle being outs.
Those
I
are
feel
still
like
outs.
they're still gonna happen because you can
Yeah.
still put
Yeah.
the shortstop or second baseman like a foot off the bag
Yeah.
and
Those are
still
still
be
outs.
right up the
Yeah.
middle.
Those are still
So
outs.
like, you know,
It'll help a
Splits it
little
right
bit.
down the middle. Yeah. This makes it very close. It just gives them a little bit more, tighter space to kind of think about with some of the hitters. And like you said, for some guys like Rizzo, these guys are probably licking their chops with this new
Dude, Max
rule.
Muncy's gonna go crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And on the contrary, some pitchers are probably frustrated with this new pitch clock rule. And I'm not against it. I like the idea of it. I just have a little couple like iffies about whenever it comes to runners on base. I'm not very fond of the only 3 pickoff move kind of, after or you only get 2.
Yeah, and then
on
you
the
have to
third
be
one
successful.
you have to get
Yeah.
an out or he gets the next bag.
I completely disagree with that. I love that rule because now it takes away you throwing
Step
over
off, step off, step
eight
off.
times for no reason. Like you're not getting the guy out, but you're just being a just a menace.
You're just holding
trying
them
to
on.
stop
You're not holding nothing.
Man,
You're holding
yeah,
me up
and-
from getting the hot dog. Like you're
Yeah,
making this
like,
inning last too long.
Nothing competitive is coming out of that. You're just stalling.
Ooh.
So now you really got to be selective. Okay,
think I'm
you got 2
stalling?
tries. You want to go for a third? You better go get him, or else he's going to the next base.
Yeah.
It makes
So,
it. I don't
I
know.
like
I come from a time where
Back in my day,
A
had
back in
time.
my day.
No
right?
way.
But no, I come from a time where like holding runners on is a big part of the game, and the looks and the stepping off and the picks and the timing. It's kind of a big thing. So to now be very limited per pitch, that's just the only discrepancy where I have like it's an issue with. And just with runners on first base, especially as a right-handed pitcher, or even as even as left-handed pitchers, because sometimes you get that guy caught, but it makes it tough. But again, I guess the idea, the goal of pushing the game forward and getting it going in the stalling, it does kind of nip that in the butt. It just does suck for the very few that don't necessarily use it as stalling. Because like we'll tell you right now, a guy like John Lester, surely if he's picking off, man, he really means it. So
Oh, he wasn't picking off. He wasn't picking off.
Yeah, I know.
He was sailing that ball. He was sailing it.
Yeah, I know. He wasn't
Yeah.
picking off. So that's what I'm saying. So, like, someone like that, he's really not going to care. But a lot of these relief pitchers and guys that get put into tough situations with runners on, it's going to be very, very more affecting for the bullpen, I feel like, more than anything.
Yeah.
than
Bullpen
But
particularly.
also, yeah, bullpen's going to be tough. But at the same time, as a baseball fan, are you mad at stolen bases being up? Because that's going to be a product of this.
I think
People are
stolen
gonna
bases. I think stolen bases are better than holding runners on for the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. No, absolutely.
And, like-
just more action. More action.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of counterintuitive too because since you're able to steal a base more often, you're probably more likely to want to take a walk, especially if you're a speedy guy. But so like that's resulting in less hits, but also like you're getting on base now, like having to have that runner potentially score because he's stealing is kind of nice too. So it's like a weird double-edged kind of a vibe.
Yeah.
Pitchers get kind of squeezed into this weird thing where like walking somebody might be really detrimental because like you throw a pitch on the black, it doesn't get called, and all of a sudden now he's on second base because like you can't hold him on now. But like, don't walk him. I don't know. Pitcher stuff is better.
It will.
Pitchers have better stuff than hitters have hitting ability at this point, like baseball's lifespan. So strike him out, bozo.
It will give the runners edge just on the time, depending on how the pitchers take it. If the pitcher wastes his time and has 5 seconds left, you can really time a good jump.
Yeah.
Plus, with the extra 3 inches per bag now, each bag gets an increase. The bags are bigger by 3 inches. It's 3 inches, but that's
It's
we're-
too much
we've
even.
seen
It's a lot.
3 inches is 3 inches.
It's
man.
almost too
like,
much.
We've seen
It's a
some
lot.
close plays, man. So, it's just this is tailor made for more of an offensive push for action. I feel like more
Yeah.
than anything, right?
Yeah.
Get the action going, get the guys playing, and so there's no harm, no foul. All,
I mean,
all-
look,
all
At the
about
end of the day, if this is going to bring people in because the action is higher now and the offense is up and there's crazier plays and more stuff happening in baseball games, everybody wins.
I think that's the right way to say it too. There's just more stuff happening in the game. Like that's pretty important. And offense probably will be up. I don't know how much it'll be up. who's really that's kind of hard to say. With the reduction of the sticky stuff, and then now we're making pitchers rush a little bit. Offense definitely might be up, and that kind of Nico started it off with a little bit of a little MVP talk, and we happen to have an MVP coming into the AL that broke the AL home run record. I mean, imagine if offense is so far up that this dude's out here breaking his own record next year. Like, that would be like insanely impressive. I'm looking at the Vegas odds right now, and to nobody's surprise, Shohei is the favorite for MVP in the American League.
Yeah.
But he's not just a favorite. Nico, you'll know these numbers. He's plus 222 to win MVP. He is the favorite.
Man.
That is, those odds are, if you bet on Shohei, you get nothing in return. Of course.
$100 is only getting you $222, and you have to wait until like
that is a
October,
full season
November.
bet. Yeah.
Better pray, God willing, he stays healthy the whole time.
Yeah.
And that's really, honestly, that's probably one of the biggest things about a season so long is just who can stay the healthiest the longest and be all ready until the end of this year, right? Obviously, you need to win games, right? But you're not going to see guys, and you're not going to see crazy win streaks in baseball. Guys going undefeated, teams never go undefeated. It's literally impossible. It's like not even in the shortened season in 2020, guys didn't go undefeated, right? So again, you got to realize
60
baseball's
games.
that type of game. Yeah, like. It's not a game where NBA you can go 72-10 whatever and all that, 73-9. Exactly, and even that, it's crazy. So again, it's just who can stay the healthiest the longest. We're seeing already, and I have to make adjustments in my predictions this season just because of Edwin Diaz getting hurt in the WBC. I had the Mets high up on my list, coming into the season. And now they take a big hit, losing their all-star closer for the whole season.
Yeah.
So, again, it's just baseball is just that game. It's the most humbling game like you can ever play. Like as quick as everything looks great, it can all just go downhill like that. And really, that's what any sports, right?
Yeah,
but
that's sports.
That's
what makes sports so great. But
with baseball, you've seen it though. Like, listen, hey, Christian McCaffrey can take the San Francisco Giants and run, and do a lot more, but if you don't got a bullpen, you don't got this in baseball, it's hard to win by yourself.
Yeah, I mean,
and the highs and lows are definitely prevalent. Like Drew, I know you remember this. Remember, I think it was like 21 or 20, or maybe even 19 when Didi came out the gates firing.
Oh yeah,
and
I thought he was going to the Hall of Fame off that year.
Bro, to start the year, Didi was looking like first ballot Hall of Famer, and then literally the next month he went 0 for 70. So it's like,
dude, he looked like prime Chase Utley with like a cool bat flip for like a full month, and then actually turned into the Mendoza line. Like it was nuts.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so the highs and lows are crazy. Who do you guys have for the AL MVP? And then we'll get these MVPs, we'll get some awards in, and we'll look at the actual teams.
So I'm, without even knowing the Vegas odds, I actually got Ohtani. I feel like going off the momentum he had in the WBC, he's just going to keep on rolling. And he's going to go crazy on both sides of the ball.
As he does.
Keeps on developing, which is scary. He looked just ridiculous in the WBC. So I got Shohei, to be honest.
Okay. I mean, that's super fair.
No.
Shohei, I feel like is the safe answer to go to. The only thing that I feel like that kind of drops his stock in that, or his level on that, is just the fact that he plays for the Angels, right? And it just kind of also can depend on how that season goes, right? Like if the Angels are a tanking team, how do you kind of have an all-star in Shohei Ohtani, right? So it just depends on how good these guys kind of perform around him as well. Fortunately, it's for me to say, if Aaron Judge can be healthy and have a really good year this year, I feel like he'll be a person that also leads his team and is the face of his team during a playoff, right? Your captain on your team who plays all your every game in right field out there for you. He's going to be your leader. He's going to be your guy. He's going to be the new face of baseball, really, ideally. So I think, having a season that he can have this year. We've seen the potential this man has, right? He, everyone rises.
He's hitting
he
70.
has that. Yeah, he's got
hitting
that.
70.
He's got that. That type of. He's a trendsetter in baseball right now. He's making these new trends. All rise, people doing all these things right. So again, you look for a lot of these things. It's not just about who can perform the best necessarily in MVP. They also look for a lot of, different things as well. Like, can he lead his team to that American League East tough division and win that division out and take his team to the ALCS and even then some, right?
Yeah.
So again, I think my safe answer would be Shohei, but I'm gonna go Aaron Judge this year. I think he kind of probably gets it done.
So one quick argument with the Shohei thing, you look at Mike Trout.
Yeah,
all
team
those
success doesn't
MVPs.
matter. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing I got with that. Like you can't really.
I think
say
your
for
team being
Shohei-
good should be like a pro, but I think your team being bad
I
shouldn't
do
be a
too.
con.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. I mean, yeah, I'm just looking at it as like, in the sense of if I had to choose between Shohei and Aaron Judge, in the last 20 games of the season took his team from second and took first place because he came up big,
it's
did all
he
this
had
extra
14
stuff.
home runs in that time.
Right,
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like those things are gonna like play more into effect than
Storylines, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The Shohei Otani's 69 and whatever.
Oh, and
70.
Shohei just threw his third complete in the game no hitter of the season to finish
And
fourth.
the Angels finished
Like-
in fourth place.
Yeah, and
No,
it's like-
absolutely.
And it's like, ugh, yeah.
So,
I have a kind of a wild card. I have two guys that I think are not in the true scope of MVP that I think are my front runners for MVP this year. One of them is Jose Ramirez. Habitually slept on Jose Ramirez. This is going to be one of the better Guardian teams we've seen in a while. I know they made the playoffs last year. They made some moves to try and get a little bit better. I think a lot of the reason he didn't get MVP votes last year is because they weren't great. Like obviously they made the playoffs and wound up winning a series, but they weren't like great last year. I think they'll be a lot better. And then my other one is an overlooked guy because I think he's not even like the fourth name you think of on this team, but Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker is an elite defender in right field. He's got great sprint speed. Kyle Tucker is going to go 30-30 this year. He will hit 30 home runs and have 30 steals. That's going to happen, especially with this new pickoff thing that we mentioned. So he's going to go 30 for 30. He's going to be a Gold Glove candidate. The Astros are going to win their division. And he's going to probably hit like 280, 290 as their like six hole. Probably wind up moving up at some point, but like he's like their six hole. That's a guy that's got MVP candidate written all over him. So that's those are my predictions.
Tampa native as well. Man.
Damn,
Former
dude,
player in high
dude.
school.
Damn.
That'd be sick.
Played against them.
Yeah.
I played against them. Like that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it would be crazy.
Let's slide over to the NL real quick. Who do you guys think is the favorite? Like just on Vegas wise. There's a lot of names.
Nolan, probably.
He's not actually even in. He's like number 8.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, his co-star won MVP last year, so that kind of tracks.
Yeah,
a
Paul
little.
Goldschmidt. I think he finished like third or something like
He
that.
did.
With Soto.
Yeah, Juan Soto. Yeah.
Soto's number one.
Juan Soto is number 1. It's Soto, Mookie Betts, Ronald Acuna in terms of Vegas odds. With that,
Who was the
being
third one?
Ronald Acuna Jr. Pretty crazy that he's number 3 over some of the names on this
Well,
list. But
he was injured last season, correct?
yeah, and nobody came back. He wasn't overly great, but obviously, he had an ACL. Like there's a learning curve back. But
yeah,
Mookie Betts
that's,
number 2. So.
Juan Soto definitely be up there for sure. Again, he's like one of those. He's just like one of the safe answers, right? In the year, he's a superstar.
Well, he's
of the
never
league
won
again.
one, so it's like it's almost like a safe, but like I want it to happen. Like please, like you've been
Like
so
a safe
good.
candidate. Andy.
It's
He's
Crazy
for
that
sure-
he never won one because with how dominant he's been, you just feel like he has one.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you-
With the way we talk about Juan Soto, it feels like he's like a
Yeah.
4-time MVP. He's like 23.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it feels like he's a 4-time MVP, but
No, yeah, he's already a World Series champion. All right,
Yeah.
it's crazy. He's just again one of those new faces of the league. He's a trendsetter. I coach a 12U baseball team, and I'll tell you how many freaking kids I see at 12U baseball doing a little shuffle, right? And again, these are like the things that your sport needs, like
Yeah.
right, new fresh types of
Personalities
moves.
and
Right, exactly. People used to do the Derek Jeter, always try to do the throw and make that joke. They did the Babe Ruth point to the outfield. You know what I'm saying?
Do you have anybody
And
do the
there's
Euro
always
step on like a home run?
uh, yeah, people have done the Euro step. So listen. One thing I will say, this kid that I saw. I don't know who they were. They were just playing. I was just walking up to the field. I saw a kid do the Kirk Gibson, and he was doing arm pump, and I was like, "Yo, this kid knows something, man."
Yeah.
12-year-old kid
You're
arm
going
pumping?
places. You're
Come
going
on, you're
places.
going. He's going to the league ASAP, man. He's got
he
knowledge.
got respect for the
What I
game.
need you to do, Nico, if anybody's doing the Soto shuffle and they strike out, have them run polls.
No, literally. Oh my gosh,
I
man.
can't have you shuffling and you're striking out.
Hey, so our kids, man, our older kids, remember a friend of the podcast, Coach Tim Blackman, his 2024
Tim.
team, shout out Coach Tim, his 2024 team, they got, the Division I commits, and some big name guys on that team. Those guys, they're not going to be quiet, especially if you start some talking, they'll definitely chirp back. We've heard some pretty funny things, man. Like, I think there's one kid who tried to shuffle on Dre Alvarez. He's a USF commit, I believe he was pitching at the time, and Dre gave him the sword, definitely made sure he knew, shushed him up. You can look it up on YouTube, man. The kids nowadays, man, they got something in the juice watching these guys. But again, I mean, this is that new era of baseball. Baseball is kind of becoming fun. It's kind of having that swag. Like, people aren't as sensitive nowadays, right? Like, bat flips are a thing. Pitchers are kind of now getting to the point where we're like, all right, yeah, it's part of the game. Like, now, all right, we're gonna do something back to them. The sword type thing with Trevor Bauer, he kind of implemented that.
And that's what I was about to say. I hate that everything has happened with Trevor because he was moving the game in a very good direction, which is being able to be yourself, have personality.
Yeah, like, have fun out there. Like, again, like, it's a great exhilarating feeling, and the WBC was a phenomenal example of that too. All the energy and the passion these guys played with, like, it made baseball fun. Like, people who don't necessarily watch baseball, they watch the WBC just because of how, again, the passion and the intensity is just up 20%. You even heard guys who played in multiple World Series say that they've never played in anything like this type of atmosphere.
Yeah.
So I think more than anything, overall, like, baseball is on an upward hill here, and we're really starting to kind of go over that and get going with some really, really exciting things coming up. Just the players now, new face, new life. It's a good time. It's a good time to be a baseball fan.
No, I 100% agree. But before we tangent too hard on this, because we can have that conversation all day long. Who you got winning the NL MVP?
I think Soto gets it done this year. I think he'll get it done this year.
Kind of a down year last year too, so he's gonna bounce back.
He's and he's still with the Padres, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, that's a team that has potential, to make something shake, and he has a potential to kind of be that spark plug and to make his case MVP of this year. So we'll go Juan Soto MVP.
I'm not mad at that pick at all. I love Soto, and he has every opportunity to win this. I'm actually going with his teammate. I think Manny Machado is actually going to get it. I feel like Manny is going to show out, especially with Tatis not being there to start the year. Manny's going to help lead the team. Obviously, you got Soto there too, so it's not like everything's on Manny's back. But I think Manny's going to play a pivotal role in this. Tatis is going to come back. All three of them are going to ball. Manny's going to lead the charge. And actually, little segue after Drew makes his pick, I actually got the Padres in the World Series.
Oh my god. I like both of those picks. I think they have one flaw, is that those guys are gonna like Pac-12 each other and eat each other alive, and we're gonna ignore how great they've been because Tatis, Manny, and Soto are all gonna be great. So we're gonna look towards a different team. We're gonna look towards a different guy. And with that being said, newly acquired Philadelphia Philly Trey Turner, with Bryce Harper being out until the All-Star game, so he can't cannibalize Trey, is going to win MVP. Captain America, he was the best player by a country mile in the WBC. Didn't win MVP because we didn't win it. Shohei robbed him. Trey Turner better. Don't care. But Trey has been on this weird thing where he is just like,
a power hitter now.
putting it all together. We've seen glimpses of Trey with power. We've obviously seen him win a batting title, and he's been a great hitter his whole career. His defense is getting a little bit better. It's like kind of fine now. It was an issue for a while, and he still is the top 5 fastest guys in the league. So if you get 25 home run type power out of Trey Turner with all the other tools that he has, that's like a scary, scary type of player. And I think he's like 4th in odds. Yeah, he is plus 1100. That's who if I were doing it, I'd put my money on right now.
No, I love that, and I mean the best comparison with like the newly acquired power that we see from Trey Turner. You look at Byron Buxton. Like, you look at Buxton, there's no reason he should be hitting tanks.
No.
Whatever he figured out with his swing, he's doing it. And
He's been eating his Wheaties.
He's eating his Wheaties. It's looking like Trey got some too, because, man, if Trey brings what he did in the WBC to the Phillies this year,
they're going to be... Dude, they added maybe the best player on their team to a World Series team. And granted, I don't know how much of a World Series team they actually were. It's had a nice run. That's the beauty of baseball. And like without him, I don't think they make it back to one. But now they got him, and then Bryce should hopefully be healthy. And then like Schwarber's still there, and JT, and it's like, oh, this team's kind of nice. Hold on,
They're great.
hold on.
Great.
If Alec Bohm puts it together, like hold on, like you got a nice little squad over there. So I'm definitely liking that. And we're talking about squads, so we might as well keep it going. And we're talking NL, so let's just stay out there. We got the NL West, which Brooklyn just alluded to. He has the Padres already going to the World Series. So does that mean you win? Do you think they're winning the division, or is this a wild card World Series type of route?
I do have them winning the division with the Dodgers and the Giants at 2 and 3.
Okay. I think I'm gonna keep the Dodgers winning the division.
Dodgers at 3?
No,
or
no,
like
no.
interchangeable.
I got the Giants at 3.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Dodgers at 2.
Good. Good.
Like wow.
Yeah, no. Dodgers at
Ooh, I was scared. I was nervous. I'm like, hold on.
Yeah.
That was like Mitch Haniger's not like a
No.
needle pusher like that. Hold on.
No.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I just think just the Dodgers right now just kind of like they just own that division right now.
You have to
Mookie
take them
Betts.
off to make me think you can.
Yeah, like you know, you got to beat me to show me. You know, so the Dodgers they have talent stacked up. They have probably one of the better bullpens in the league. Probably one of the best bullpens in the league, and you know, I think the Dodgers definitely win. I think it'll be closer, like you said, with Fernando Tatis coming back this season. It'll be very, very interesting to see. It'll definitely be a lot closer than the 10 games they won to 89. In the Padres, Padres definitely win a lot more games with Fernando Tatis coming back. So, but I still, I got definitely the Dodgers winning the NL West.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with that too. But I feel a little bit of concern for the Dodgers because obviously they lose Trey Turner, and it's easy to you replace Corey Seager. Cool, you did good. It's really hard to replace 2 All-Star guys in 2 consecutive years at a really important position like shortstop. And then you have Gavin Lux. Gavin Lux goes down hurt. He tears his ACL in the spring training game. Super unfortunate. So now they're going to have to hope that Miguel Vargas is ready and that his hand is healed up and he can play maybe some shortstop, maybe some second base, wherever they wind up putting them. They do also have to replace Justin Turner. I know he's not like a big part of their offense towards the end of his time there because they were, running Max Muncy over there and they were kind of platooning some guys. But they do have to replace him. That is another guy. Chris Taylor did see a downturn last year also. So there's a couple of things they kind of got to figure out, but Dustin May is coming back healthy. Walker Buehler hopefully comes back at some point this year. I know he had a pretty serious injury. I don't know if he's going to come back at all. Hopefully he does. Julio Urias was a beast.
Not that Bellinger was playing at the top of his game, but he's no longer there too now.
It's probably a better thing he's gone, honestly. Because now James Outman can play out there, and that's a really talented young guy. So, the Dodgers have one of the best prospect systems in the league. So losing talent's never a big issue, but you just got to make sure that it's... What the dog doing? You just got to make sure that...
Bring him on camera.
Dog screaming.
Oh, man.
I guess the dog's not a big fan of the Dodgers.
Not a big Dodgers guy. I can't
Not a
blame.
big
I can't
Dodgers
blame
dog.
him. Can't blame him. Central, NL Central. This division sucks, so I'll go with the Cardinals with their 2 MVP candidates, but their pitching is horrible.
I got the Cardinals too.
Yeah, the Cardinals probably make the best run. I mean, the division's just.
It's
tough.
not great, and I would like the Brewers to actually be the team here, but they don't know how to win games and like
Yeah.
do it. And they lost Hunter Renfroe, so Cardinals didn't lose
Yeah.
anybody offensively.
I have
And
the
Jordan
Cubs
Walker's
being,
starting the year on the roster. Jordan Walker's gonna be a beast.
I have the Cubs being spunky and getting second in that division.
Mhm.
Nice,
No, that's fair. No.
nice.
That doesn't mean a thing.
No, but nice.
This is the Chicago Cubs finishes second with 70 wins.
It doesn't fully
Yeah.
matter to me who wins this division, so because
That's
that's
the thing
that's a
with the
one and done.
Centrals.
Yeah, it's a one and done exit. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We have maybe the best division in the league now though, with the NL East, and we got the Braves, Mets, Philly, Miami, Washington. Philly is actually third in odds in the division, which is again interesting. They went to a World Series last year against Trey Turner. They're third in odds. How do you guys feel about this division?
It's just
I'm a pro Braves guy at this current juncture. I think the Braves are gonna win this division.
I think this one's tough, man. I don't know. I was big into the Mets. Edwin Diaz getting hurt doesn't help out anything. The signing with Senga helps.
I think that's part of it. I want to see what Senga does. He's such an unknown because
Yeah.
like pitchers that come over in general are so hit or miss. They can either become, Kenta Maeda in his prime, which was pretty good, or they can
Yeah.
become. Who was the guy that was on Seattle? It's on the Blue Jays now. I'm blanking on his name. The lefty, Kikuchi. Like they can be Maeda or Kikuchi, and like that's a big difference between the two. So,
Or they can look like you, Darvish, against Kyle Schwarber in the WBC.
and that's not
Yeah.
ideal. That's not
Well,
ideal.
Still, with Justin Verlander also being there, that starting lineup is just that starting pitching staff just goes crazy.
It
Justin
does.
Verlander, Max Scherzer, who do you have? Cookie Carrasco. Like you got arms for days.
They lost Walker, right? Taiwan Walker's gone.
Taiwan Walker's gone.
Yeah.
He's gone. But again, now you get Kodai Senga. So
Yeah.
let's see how we're able to let these guys come in. Again, you got a bullpen that's looking pretty well. Plus, your leaders on your infield and, Pete Alonso, Francisco Lindor, decent second baseman Jeff McNeil, who I don't think should have started over Tim Anderson in the WBC. But that's
Both
another-
sucked anyway, so it's alright.
Another can of worms.
Both were bad.
Again, the outfield too as well was your guys, Mark Hanna, Starling Marte, one of the faster guys in the league, who will probably get him about 25, 30 bags maybe this season.
Yeah, actually.
Brandon Nemo, like the lineup just has a lot of potential. But what's the good old saying? The Mets are gonna Met, huh?
And for that reason, I'm out.
Yeah.
For that reason, I'm out.
I got them third in the division. I'm not gonna sip the juice like I did last year. They lost it. They lost all hope, lost all composure.
They lost all composure.
I got no faith in them, no matter how good they look on paper, because they still look great. Paper wise,
Look
they
better.
pass every test. They
No.
passed every test paper wise. Guess what? I don't care. Third. I got the Phillies actually winning this division, but by the smallest margin.
Okay.
I don't. They're not running away with anything. It's gonna come down to last couple weeks of the season for them to even win it. Braves are gonna be right behind them, on their booty hole the whole time. So
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be super close. I think it'll be definitely coming down to the last like 2 weeks of baseball for sure.
So that's where I'm.
I like that. The only way I see the Phillies winning that division is not even if Trey wins MVP, but we're gonna get a Zach Wheeler Cy Young season.
And Harper has to come back healthy, balling,
Yeah.
playing at the
There definitely are a couple of ifs, but I think Zach Wheeler's going to be great regardless. He doesn't even need to win a Cy Young for him to be great. Nola was fantastic last year, so the pitching is like pretty good. They beefed up the bullpen a little bit also, so there's some good things happening in Philly, and You know why the Braves scare me so much? Because they keep getting away with getting young guys under 8-year deals for like a fourth of the price they should because they're doing it early. They can't keep getting away with this. Michael Harris, and then Sean Murphy and Acuna and Albies. They can't keep getting away with this. Spencer Strider, they can't.
There's something in that Atlanta water, man.
Dude, they love it there. They have to love it there, and whatever
weather.
I don't know what it is. But they got it made. Moving over to the American League, we'll start with the worst division. We'll go to the AL Central because there's not a whole lot. I mean, it's actually a fun, competitive division, I feel like, in terms of who's going to win it. Very similar to the NL, where it's not so much of a World Series conversation and more of just a winning it conversation.
Mm-hmm.
If the White Sox are healthy, they obviously have the guys. Dylan Cease is a Cy Young candidate. Luis Robert had a down year, but he's an MVP type of a guy. They lose Jose Abreu. That's a big deal. It's a very big deal.
Yeah.
And they're probably the only team that got worse in this division, which is not obviously ideal when you didn't win the division last year. So Minnesota, they get a little bit better. They go get Pablo Lopez. They re-sign Correa. Re-signing Correa just didn't feel like that was the thing that was going to happen, and now here he is re-signed. That's pretty impressive. Shout out to Minnesota for making that happen.
Yeah.
And then Cleveland, like I mentioned earlier, Jose Ramirez. They go get Josh Bell. They have one of the best pitching factories in baseball. There's some teams here.
So listen, for the White Sox, for me,
Don't sip the Kool-Aid.
I got to, bro, because listen,
No.
Liam
Liam Hendricks is out for a while. Which,
Liam
by the way,
Hendricks is out.
You know who else is out? The old hag and and Tony. He's gone.
Listen,
So,
that's true.
so sip
all
all the Kool-Aid you want.
all
you're
I'm
allowed
saying
to
is
now.
If these guys here, so if Michael Kopech can pitch, like he should be
We're
pitching.
deep into the if bag here.
Yeah, I know. Listen,
We've
I
been saying
know.
if for him
But again,
since he came
when you
up.
listen again, guys, when you have Lucas Giolito, right? Mike Clevenger this year, I believe, is playing this season.
Which
Kendall
he shouldn't
Graveman-
be. Let's put that out there real quick. He shouldn't be allowed to play baseball this year. So him not getting suspended is a bad guy. But he can play. So
Lance Lynn, though, Dylan Cease, like you said, they have the arms to do so. On the offensive side, I really need guys like Tim Anderson, Yon Makata, Andrew Benintendi to kind of produce the certain numbers that they need to do. Offensively and defensively, Yon Makata is a defensive machine, so just if he can stay consistent and lock down that corner spot at third base, we'll be okay. But Yasmani Grandal is a big thing as well behind the plate. Offensively, if we can have him kind of be that
He had a rough
that
year
kind
last
of
year.
Yasmani we knew in the past, who can kind of be very clutch and very, very good in that order hitting, kind of like in a 4-5, type of hole. We'll have a lot of success this year. Again, the Central's not a big division where guys are, it's not like the AL East, right? The division is up for grabs. The toughest team that is going to be there is going to be Cleveland. Cleveland's really good this year, so they'll probably, maybe get a wild card. But I just got to go White Sox this year just to be against the grain. Go White Sox.
Yeah, I got Cleveland and then Chicago number 2. So,
Really? You don't like the moves Minnesota made?
I don't have any faith in Minnesota, to be honest. Like, you bring back Correa, cool. But I don't know.
Bucks still won't stay healthy, so.
That's the thing. Like,
That's what we do.
They don't give me any faith over the last couple of years when they were at the top of their game, and then they had the pieces to make stuff happen, didn't, and now they're kind of just trying to piece things together. And you want to make a run,
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I'll go with Cleveland too. The youngest team in baseball. They won a playoff series last year. And dude, I mean, if Oscar Gonzalez is playing like he did last season in the playoffs, they're gonna look way better offensively. That's the main thing for them. Can they hit the ball out of the ballpark occasionally? I'm not even asking frequently. I'm asking occasionally. Because if they can hit if they can hit 2 ticks below the league average in terms of home runs, this offense will be nasty. But they do not hit 2 ticks below the league average in home runs. They are the bottom of the league in home runs. So if they can get that up to the 30th percentile, we can have a real conversation about a World Series. But until that happens, it's hard to win games without the long ball. That's just what it is.
Need a long ball.
Yep.
But I think they'll win the division. Yeah. Where do you want to go next?
West. West.
Yeah, let's go West.
Let's go West. The
Save the
West,
best for last.
dude. The West is zesty this year.
Yeah.
The West is zesty. Let's get this out of the way.
Zesty
Oakland's
Westy.
over and under wins is 59.1 or 59.5. 0.1 can't happen. 59.5 wins for the Oakland Athletics this year. Over or under?
Under.
They are horrible. I think it's under.
Over.
No.
Over.
This team can't win 60 games. No way.
No.
You're playing more good teams.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I know. I forgot about that. That's true.
You're playing more of them.
Yeah. We'll go under. We'll go under.
I'm going to hit a dangerous under, too. Oakland wins 51 games this year. They're going to be an all-time bad team. That's how I feel.
Yeah,
All-time bad.
I'm on the road of they're going to be the worst team in the league.
In, like, a long time. Like, that kind of bad. So, I'm sorry for Oakland fans, NorCal, if you're listening.
No, I
Go
hate
Giants
it.
for you. Yeah, truly.
Hate it. Had to be.
Truly. The true battle in this division, though, will be not who wins it, but the battle for 4th place, because Seattle, Texas, and LA all have interesting stuff going on.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Houston's going to win it. I mean, unless you guys feel otherwise. I feel like
Yeah. Houston
the
probably wins it
Astros
again.
won a World Series pretty handily. They got better adding Jose Abreu. Like, they lose Verlander, but their pitching staff is really deep anyway. Like, I'm not worried about them.
Should be good. Should be fine to win their division.
Yeah.
Should.
No, I think easily they win it.
Yeah, by like a good 7-8 games. But Seattle, Texas, and LA, like I said, all have little quirky things going. Seattle's probably the best rounded team of the group. The Angels obviously have the best superstars. But I don't even know how true that is, because Texas got a couple superstars over there now. And
So I ain't even gonna hold you. I got Texas as number 2.
already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Crazy.
Is that
Over
a
Seattle?
Yeah.
is that a result of like just the pitching getting that much better? Because it is getting significantly better.
Yeah. It's you bring in DeGrom, you let Simeon and Seager do their thing. They get another year under their belt, and I feel like they all mesh.
It's a decent offense that
Yeah.
needs another boost or two, but Simeon and Seager. Simeon had a great second half of the year, like fantastic. It was like one of the most slept on second halves of the year ever. He was so incredibly butt cheeks to start the year that people were like, he sucks, and he balled out in the second half. Seager, again, like I mentioned at the top, with the shift being like tweaked, will be better in terms of just results. Adolis Garcia's been a solid player for them for a couple of years now. So has Nate Lowe. Nate Lowe is one of the better hitting first basemen in baseball. Again, kind of slept on. But they do need production at a third base. They're getting like negative production at a third base. Corner outfield spots, they're just getting no hitting at all. And Jonah Heim's a decent little catcher. So they have like some pieces they need to really fill those holes. But DeGrom is like, a healthy DeGrom is the most dominant force in the sport.
And obviously that relies on
Him being
that.
Yeah.
No. So, but yeah, I got them number 2. I feel like they just shock everybody, show up, and it's like, hey, what's popping?
Okay. I feel bad for not wanting to say Seattle here. Seattle showed every sign last year that they're a young team getting better. Julio Rodriguez was sensational last year, and I don't see a reason that he wouldn't be again. Maybe just like a sophomore slump, but like he's still a really incredibly talented guy, another 30-30 type of guy. Their pitching staff worries me.
That's always the thing that scares me, though. When you get a team that randomly showed up like that when they're young, it's hard to do it again.
Yeah.
So.
It'd be very interesting. I think Seattle finishes at 2.
Fair.
At least,
I'm
like,
mad at that.
yeah, I just think if Robbie Ray can have somewhat of a 2021, 2020, Robbie Ray type of season.
Just don't pitch him against Jordan Alvarez, and maybe there's a chance.
Yeah, and then Luis Castillo. Uh, they got a couple arms that can do it. It'll just be really kind of dudes
Logan
in the young
Gilbert.
core.
Yeah.
Just
George
the
Kirby
young
looks
core
really
just
good.
kind of got to get through. Colton Wong, Geno Suarez, J.P. Crawford. These young guys, they got to step up to the plate and just.
I think that's part of the problem I have with Seattle, though. Like, their boom or bust guys' ceiling isn't even that high.
Yeah.
Like, I don't love Colton Wong's ceiling for, like, how okay he is not at the ceiling. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously Julio's sensational. I think Kyle Rowley is actually one of the best switch hitting bats in baseball, too. Young guy, another rookie kind of got overshadowed. I don't know. I just don't like their bats as like a season long and a playoff long team. I don't know.
And Seattle's that team where we're like, all right, we got our eye on you. We'll watch. We'll see what's up.
You know what? You know what they give me big flashbacks to, like almost verbatim, outside of the coach being a lame-o, is the White Sox from 2 years ago. 2 years ago, the White Sox, Lucas Giolito was cooking. He was a Cy Young candidate, had a perfect game or no hitter, whatever it was. He was really good that year.
Went through one like a couple weeks later.
Lance Lynn was fantastic for them as well. So they had two starters. They had the switch hitting guys with Moncada. They had some guys that couldn't play defense and hit. And then you had the young guy with Luis Robert. Came up, balled out, and then second year kind of took a step back. They give me glimpses of that, which kind of isn't what I want from them. But, and then we got to talk about the Angels too. I mean, we did a little bit earlier. But put Shohei and Mike Trout aside, and hear me out. Hear me out. They add Gio Urshela, a pretty solid third base shortstop option, significantly an upgrade over the shortstops they've had. Like Andrew Velasquez was starting for shortstop for like 70 games for them last year. That's just unacceptable.
Yeah.
There's a world where Anthony Rendon comes back and actually knows how to play baseball and like just plays baseball. It doesn't even have to be great. Just play.
You get Brandon Drury on this team now.
You add Brandon Drury.
Rose to a whole new level of talent that I didn't know existed for him.
And then you add Hunter Renfroe. And Hunter Renfroe's a 30, 35 home run guy. So now you're getting 30 home runs from Hunter Renfroe, Trout, and Ohtani. That's 90 home runs. And then you're hoping that just Anthony Rendon plays baseball. You add Brandon Drury, who can play any position. And all of a sudden, and then Jared Walsh is one of the better left-handed bats in baseball too. So like this team has a lot of offensive potential.
Just going to come up to their arms. It's just a matter of fact.
It comes up with their arms, but their offense has let them down in the past though. Like they've had terrible pitching and a really okay offense. This offense is like elite now. Top to bottom, this lineup is very, very solid. And I don't remember the moves they made on the pitching end of things. I know Patrick Sandoval has looked really good. WBC had a great end of last year. So they're looking at him and Shohei to be their number one and number two. They go Noah Syndergaard, whatever. It doesn't do anything. But
I thought Aaron Loop.
Yeah, like what are we doing here?
These guys on their pitching.
Hey, don't forget about that other pitcher, Brett Phillips. Nico's brother.
They do have Brett Phillips, known pitcher.
Best player in baseball right now, man.
Known pitcher.
He's just better. Man, they got another two-way, huh?
Yeah. So
two ways.
So shifting it over to the hometown, the East Coast, our side. Who we got in this confunkel or whatever?
Confunkel is a good word. I think the Yankees pretty easily take the division this year. I really do.
Easily.
I think they pretty easily take the division this year. They dealt with a lot of injuries last year and won the division pretty handily. The team got better this year than it was last year. Harrison Bader is a significant upgrade to this team. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is allegedly not starting at shortstop with the call-up of Anthony Volpe. If Anthony Volpe plays half as well as he did this spring training, he is already the second best shortstop in this division, which is crazy.
Rookie of the year, Anthony Volpe.
And then obviously you have a healthy Stanton now. DJ LeMayu's back. The issue with the Yankees right now is just health. If they're healthy, they win this division. It's not even close. That's just the way it goes. They're starting the year with Frankie Montas, Carlos Rodon, and Luis Severino all on the IL. And that's brutal because this is the best starting pitching in the American League as a team, outside of maybe Houston. but then you lose 3 of your top 5 starters, and now Clark Schmidt's starting game 2 of opening, game 2 of the year. You're like, ooh, what's going on here? I do want to say this is the highest I've ever felt on a Rays team ever. And I think this Rays team is going to be one of the best wild card teams we ever see. I just think they're going to
look good.
I think they look fantastic. This is the first time I can ever remember, and Nico, you can correct me if I'm wrong, the Rays having a legitimate MVP candidate coming into a year. This is the first time that I think they have the best infield in the division ever.
Yeah, you got Brandon Law, second base, Yandy Diaz, and at first or third. Really, you can play both, kind of. But I think
Wander
we'll
and
have more at
Paredes.
first base because we have G-Man Choi out, so Yandy Diaz, and I don't think Harold Ramirez is going to get time in the infield really with these guys here. But yeah, you got literally Wander Franco, shortstop. You can
I like Isak a lot.
Paredes
I like him a lot.
at short. Where do you put Wander at second?
No, I like Isak at first.
Oh, at first. Oh,
Yeah, I like him at first. Yeah.
Yeah, put him at first too, and then throw Yandy at third. You know
I like him at first. So, like, they have one of the better infields. I know the Blue Jays exist, right? So it's kind of hard to say they have the best infield, but they have one of the best infields. They have the best pitching staff in the division as a staff. I think their starting pitching is like a tick below the Yankees as a unit, but like, what does a tick
picked
mean?
up Zach Eflin.
Yeah,
so
and
we'll
he's
see
great.
how he produces.
I think he's a really good number 3 or 4. Tyler Glasnow comes back healthy.
Tyler Glasnow I thought just got re-injured. Is he back again?
Oh, I don't know if he got re-injured or not.
Yeah, I thought he had just got I could be
I mean,
wrong,
if he
but-
does, that's classic Tyler Glasnow. Tyler
Yeah,
made of glass now. Like, that's just unreal.
We'll see how long the wheels on that bus ride.
Crazy.
But I'm more focused on Drew Rasmussen, Shane McClanahan, Zach Eflin. Like, we really need him to kind of come through. But our bullpen guys are great, you know.
Yeah.
And Shane Boz as well, you know. A lot of these guys too, you know, we're very, very known for the openers. So a lot of these guys are we have probably like the most pitchers on our pitching staff because a lot of these guys are gonna throw.
That phone call going crazy. Can't hear you.
Yeah.
That phone call still ringing, bro. I know what you're saying though. The Rays, their bullpen is deep. The pitching staff is great. I do have a little bit of concerns of anybody in the outfield not named Randy Rosarena, and I have concerns for Randy in games that don't happen at the end of September and onward. When Randy is in the playoffs or in the games that matter, he turns into prime Willie Mays, and that scares the hell out of me. Getting there is the issue. I think Toronto is like kind of weird because they've been having all these expectations for years and years, and it's kind of pieced itself together. They had a really good year 2 years ago where they just like don't make the playoffs because the Yankees had 100 wins and the Blue Jays had like 98. They didn't make the playoffs. Like, that's just the way it goes sometimes. But Kevin Gausman, they have him. Jose Barrios sucks. That's a problem. Kikuchi sucks. That's a problem. Hyun-Jin Ryu, is he even on that team anymore? Like, he is. Does he play? He hasn't played like 2 years. It would be nice if he came back and helped out that starting rotation. They lose Teoscar. Losing Teoscar. I didn't mention him on Seattle. That's actually a big part of Seattle. They lose Teoscar, and they replace him for Dalton Varsho. I think that's like a serviceable replacement. He's a way better defender, but he's nowhere
And
near the hitter.
they got Kevin Kiermaier too, man. Whit Merrifield.
Whoa. Whit Merrifield's never pushed a single needle ever. Although he's going to steal 40 bags this year, so
Oh,
shout out to him.
I have no idea why I'm thinking Bobby Witt Jr. in my head. My bad.
I mean, Whit Merrifield's fine. He's a fine player. He's fine, I guess, man. I don't know. The Blue Jays are like the pinnacle of like everything looks great, and then it just like you press the play button and like the DVD or the CD starts like skipping on song 3. You're like, why is it skipping? You take some toothpaste, you fix it, then it skips on song 5 after you fix it. It's like
The
why?
Blue Jays are getting dangerously close to losing everything that they have. Because you better hope that you start making runs and putting all these pieces together. Because when it's time to pay these
Bo.
young guys,
Vlad.
what are you going to do? You're going to pay them all all these millions of dollars and lock up your money to build depth on this team just to be mediocre again?
Yeah.
So their window's closing real fast, and they better do
I'll tell you,
something quick. Because
Bobichette and Vlad are definitely looking to get paid. That's for sure.
And they should. They deserve it. You saw what Dansby just got paid? Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on now.
absolutely.
Bo's better than Dansby. Come on now.
But guess what? You lose those guys, and in a couple years, the Orioles are actually gonna be like a team
Yeah.
with all the young players that they're coming up with.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised when you see Toronto at 4th place.
That's the thing. Like, you can't let these windows pass you like the Yankees kind of have for the better part of the decade, because the other teams that are bad will start to get good. Like Toronto. Toronto was horrible. And then they get Vlad, they get Bo, they get Springer, they get Gurriel, and it's like, whoa, this team's pretty good now.
Yeah, and at least like the Yankees, you have the luxury of having a good farm and being able to go get free agents. But like, how good is the Blue Jays farm that you're gonna be able to create another Vladimir Guerrero?
Well, you want to know how good their farm was? They gave up Gabriel Moreno, their best talent, for a left field replacement that probably won't be as good as Teoscar this year. And then Jordan Groshans was the number 2 prospect. They gave him up for Zach. Or was it Zach Pop? I don't know. But Groshans goes to Miami, and he is actually terrible. So, like, every time they trade a prospect and he goes somewhere and he's not good, I'm like, there it is. there goes Toronto.
Blue Jays, hurry up! Your clock is ticking.
Yeah. I do think the Blue Jays get second in the division.
I do too.
But I think
I
that the
agree.
Rays are better. It's a weird thing. I think the Rays are better by like a decent margin, actually. Like if they're playing a wild card, the Rays are like blowing their back out. But I think the Blue Jays get second.
Amigo, with that being said, that doesn't even mean that the Rays don't make the playoffs.
No, I'm saying they do. I'm saying they do. I'm saying they both do.
Yeah.
I don't even. No, they
both do.
they make the playoffs.
Yeah, the Rays are making the playoffs. The Rays are making the
win their
playoffs.
division if we want to take it there, but they're making the playoffs.
The Rays
without
aren't
a
winning
doubt.
the division.
Third place
Rays
Rays
aren't
is
winning the
crazy.
division.
You think the Rays are winning this division?
Rays aren't winning the division.
Yeah, it's this is the same conversation every year. They
Oh, what
win
happened
it.
last year?
All right, that's great. Played the playoffs.
I was like,
Whatever, bro. Whatever, bro. I
He
don't
said
wanna get into
whatever,
it.
bro.
I'm not gonna get into this, bro.
whatever, right? Big man. He mad.
We'll just see,
Big
man.
man.
We'll just see how the
All
season.
right,
Big
so
man.
everybody give a team from the AL and the NL for teams to watch, and then your World Series teams.
A sneaky team to watch is the Rays.
Yeah, bro. Like
It's
I'm
the
telling you,
Rays.
stop playing. Come on,
It's the
bro.
Rays.
Come
And
on,
they're not
we
even
got the
sneaky
ball.
anymore. And I don't know why the Rays are like this every year. People think they're like underrated. They're not underrated. We know the Rays are
We
good.
are underrated.
They're not
Yes, we are
underrated.
underrated. We are
Shut up.
underrated. How many commercials are Rays players in now in baseball? Maybe
Bro, they're
one.
all boring.
Ah.
Get a marketable player that you don't trade away, and maybe you'll have that luxury.
We have Randy Rosarena. We're trying. Okay, we're trying.
You are
We're
trying.
slipping
You are
our
trying.
hands
You are
'cause he's gonna
trying.
Want a big bag.
Oh, he's leaving.
He's gonna. You know, bro, he is getting paid
He's
like
leaving.
500,000 like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, he's
He's getting
leaving.
the bag.
He's leaving. Truly. That's sad.
The Rays, yeah, I agree with Julian. Rays are definitely the sneaky link team. You know, team that's
Sneaky
just-
link team.
Sneaky link team. There's definitely sneaking in there. I think this season is gonna be very, very, very good. I'm not gonna be conceited and have a big head and say the Rays are going to the World Series, though they will make a nice, decent, good run.
Okay.
They'll make a very good run.
Okay.
I do have. I had the Mets really going into the World Series this year, and
It's just-
I think they can.
That Kool-Aid going crazy.
The Kool-Aid's going crazy,
You letting
but
them
Justin
do it to you
Verlander
again,
in there.
Nico? You letting
Justin
them do it to you
Verlander
again?
will
They
do
did it to
more.
me. You letting them do it to
Justin-
you?
Justin
So
Verlander's the
sad.
Tom Brady of pitching right now. So I got
You know,
um,
sure.
he's
yeah.
the Tom Brady of pitching. I got Mets and Astros until the Astros can kind of like until someone can kind of knock them
It's
down,
incredibly
knock them
fair.
off,
Incredibly
prove
fair.
us wrong.
They got better. They got better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
they
they're
got
going
better.
to. The Astros are definitely going to probably be in the ALCS this year,
Yeah.
without a
I
doubt.
mean, they've been in it the last 7. So.
Yeah, so
My teams to watch would be the Angels, because I do think now that they got a little piece, they got a little taste of like what it's like to play in meaningful games. Otani and Trout, maybe they run it up. So I got the Angels for a team to watch, and I also got the Marlins. That team has been knocking on the door
Already?
for like, yeah. I mean, their pitching just keeps on getting better and better. They let me double check.
It is an odd year, which means Avisail Garcia is going to know how to hit a baseball, so that helps them.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that, Brooke. In about a year.
I think
2 years,
next
I'm
year.
gonna
I
get
think next
Yeah.
year too. I think it's one.
I think
one
they're
year
gonna get
too
it done
soon.
this year.
Like I really do like the Luis Ariz pickup.
That's
for the
true.
Marlins as
That's
well.
true. He's
I
fantastic.
really like that. Gene Segura, cool. Joey Wendell, like Avisail Garcia, Jose Soler. Like you got people on this team. So and
It's an
again,
odd
this
year.
doesn't-
Avisail's going to ball. All-star
Again, this
Avisail.
doesn't mean team to watch that they're gonna win the World Series, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I like them to be spunky. So got the Angels and the Marlins, and then World Series I got Padres, like I said, and Astros. Pains me to say, but
Yeah, we're sticking Astros. I'm not though. I do think, and I don't know like the non like homer way to say this, but I never actually go for the Yankees to make the World Series. I never do. Carlos Rodon makes this team significantly better, like significantly better, and Carlos Rodon is going to be, mark my words, when the Yankees make the playoffs this year, whatever, if they win the division or not, I don't really care. He's going to be the game one starter. He's going to be the game one starter, which is crazy, but that's just the way it's going to be because he's going to shove this year when he comes back healthy. And I got the Yankees, and I think I'm going to go with the Braves.
Yankees and Braves. I
Yankees,
would love
Braves. I think that's what I'm going with. I think that's what baseball needs. A little bit of a little bit of a '90s throwback. You know, the good old Smoltz era Braves. Maybe get a little bit of vengeance on the Yankees. And if that's the actual World Series, I do think the Braves will win it. So
that. Okay.
that's my prediction. That's how
Very
I feel.
good. I like it.
That's how I feel. Austin Riley, watch out. Another MVP type of guy. I was gonna say him over Trey, but I had to reel it back for Captain America real quick. But that's all we got for you guys. That is our baseball preview for the year. Let us know what you guys think. Let us know who you guys think are gonna win every division, Cy Youngs, MVPs, all that good stuff. The first pitch is Thursday. I don't actually remember what the first game is. I think it actually is Giants Yankees. So
Let me double check that.
yeah, I'm not. Brooke will look that up, but we do have opening day this Thursday, so we got baseball all summer long, and I'm excited.
All day, every day, baseball.
All day, every day. Also, March Madness was kind of cool. Final Four next week. Nice. The coolest Final Four maybe ever.
So opening day is Thursday, correct?
Yep.
Boston, Detroit, and Miami Mets will be the first games at 1:10 Eastern.
Horrible.
Nice.
I don't know if there's going to be a
Horrible.
game on Wednesday night. Let me.
No, Thursday night is opening night.
Yeah, it's everybody's playing opening night this year, which is pretty cool.
I like that.
Yeah.
Don't put the weird
Yeah.
one team.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool. We get a 1 o'clock tip.
All right.
Love that.
Well, thank you guys again. I will be with you next week. And make sure you follow at Spectators Media, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Yeah.